Hello Kitty Island Adventure Update 1.5 Merry Meadow introduced flowers to the game. Now we're still learning a ton about flowers, and I'm sure we're gonna see more through different events, quests, and future updates. But here are some things to get you started with flowers right now. In Merry Meadow, you can find seeds on the ground. When you plant these seeds in any of the plots in Merry Meadow, it'll take them 4 days to turn into flowers, as long as you water them every day. It'll take even longer if you do not water the flowers, so be sure to water them. The seeds that you find on your island are only going to be one kind of flower. So for me, I have Tulia, but you could also have bell button or dandelion or penstemon. Right now there are 4 base types of flowers. The other flowers can be gotten from leveling up friendship with Wish Me Mel and opening the seed capsules that she gives you. You will be able to get all 4 kinds of flowers just from playing on your island. If you've already leveled up Wish Me Mel and you don't have all 4 kinds of flowers, don't worry, Hotfix 1.5.1 will give you another seed capsule and you'll end up with all of the flowers. There are 29 different colors in the flower color palette, and we don't know right now if every flower is going to come in every color in the palette. It may end up being that you cannot make a black dandelion, but you could make a black tulia. We don't know right now, it's way too early in flower breeding, but what we do know is each of the 4 base flowers comes in 3 base colors. So every time you're planting those seeds, you will get one of these colors. The base color for bell buttons are yellow, blue, and white. The base color for Tulia are red, yellow, and violet. The base color for dandelion are red, yellow, and white. And the base color for penstemon are green, sky, and white. The game encourages you to plant your flowers close together. What it doesn't tell you is that your flowers could spawn additional flowers in the spaces next to them. So you don't want to fill in absolutely every space in your garden. You want to have at least some of them being open so that the flowers can spawn additional flowers. The game also lets you know that fertilizing your flowers every day can increase your chance of rare flowers. Now, rare flowers, according to the game, are flowers that have a gradient or pattern to them. So they might be yellow in the middle, but white on the outside. These gradient patterns, as far as we can tell, only happen once you've fertilized your flowers. An individual flower can change from the application of fertilizer. So even though you might plant a regular yellow dandelion, by applying fertilizer, you may end up getting a gradient yellow dandelion. So far, looks like producing new colors of flowers happens when new flowers spawn from existing flowers. We don't know yet if the existing flowers need to have been fertilized or not. I have only gotten new colors from fertilized flowers so far, and I have only gotten gradient flowers as the spawn of existing fertilized flowers. Others have reported that their flowers have changed into gradient flowers just by fertilizing them, where something would start out as a yellow dandelion, then it is fertilized, and by the time it blooms, it becomes a gradient yellow dandelion. Because of the way I set up my garden, it looks like a mix of red and yellow tulia can produce an orange tulia. However, they won't always produce an orange tulia, and it may be possible for a flower on its own to clone itself. So if you planted a yellow tulia on its own, it may make another yellow tulia. I have not seen anything yet that suggests a flower on its own would produce an additional flower of a different color. That doesn't mean that it can't happen. I just haven't seen it yet, and not very many people are set up to be able to test that either, because our gardens are so small. They sure don't feel small when you're watering them every day, one flower at a time. But in order to really know which flower is spawning which new flower, you need a lot of space. So far for me, I can confirm that unfertilized flowers can definitely spawn additional flowers. I can confirm that fertilized flowers can spawn additional flowers, and that these flowers can be new colors and patterns. It is possible to get a new color and a pattern, like a gradient on the same flower. From the Discord, we also have a confirmation that green and white penstemon can spawn a mint penstemon when fertilized. If you get a new color flower and it is a solid color, it sounds like you will be able to put it in the seed machine and make additional seeds so that you can plant more of that new color. However, if you get a flower with a gradient or a pattern on it of some sort, you will not be able to make additional seeds of that flower. You will only be able to make more gradient flowers by having new ones spawn and using fertilizer. The good news is, once you get one of those new colors or a flower with a pattern on it, they will continue blooming and you'll be able to continue to collect those flowers. After they bloom, you can pick them, and after you pick them, water them again, and then the next day, they will be flowers again. It sounds like all flowers were likely supposed to freeze and not change anymore once they bloom, but we're not entirely sure if a regular flower couldn't still change after it's bloomed at least one time. In the game, it says that fertilizer will increase your chance of getting rare flowers, and that makes me think that maybe there is a very small chance of getting rare flowers without fertilizer, but we've seen no evidence of this so far. Currently in the game, I've been unable to confirm if Top Hat will give you additional flowers when picking them because his percentage is so low. I haven't seen it yet, but that doesn't mean it can't happen. I tried bringing big challenges with me to see if we could auto-collect the flowers and save some clicks, but he didn't help me pick up any of the flowers. So you still have to click on each individual flower in order to pick it. Also, I don't know if this will change with hotfix 1.5.1, but currently if you're gonna move a flower using the trowel, you want to make sure that you water it both before and after you move it, because when you move it, it loses its watered state. Also note that if you move a flower, it will not be fertilized anymore. Using an island bouquet will not allow you to water or fertilize your flowers again, so you can't use these to make your flowers grow faster. You can trade flowers in multiplayer. It sounds like you can also trade seed packets in multiplayer. I haven't tried trading in multiplayer myself with the flowers yet, but this is what other players are reporting. So to have the best chance at new colors and patterns, be sure you are fertilizing as many of your flowers as possible as early as possible and watering them each day. Leave some space around your flowers so that they could breed additional ones. If you want to be able to test color combinations with us, this is the way that I'm thinking about it. If I think of a flower as being in the middle of a 3x3 square, it means it has 4 diagonal places and 4 cross places that would be touching that flower. So if I wanted to see what does a yellow tulia and a red tulia make, I would put a red tulia and a yellow tulia next to each other in 2 squares, and then I would need to make sure that they have enough space around them so no other flower is touching any of their adjacent squares. And if I wanted to test an additional pair of colors, I would need to make sure that those flowers had that same space around them and that their space did not overlap. I'd need to mark out all of the squares that touch either of those 2 flowers as being places where the new flower could potentially spawn. So I would need to make sure that no other flower could spawn flowers into those spaces. No other flower could be touching those spaces, even diagonally. You can see how this starts to take up a lot of space really quickly, but if you did it on the edges, or if you only tested a few pairs of flowers, this could help you keep track. However, with the way that they spawn flowers so quickly, you end up needing more and more space. You could also decide you want to test red tulia with red tulia and just do a whole checkerboard of all red tulia and see what spawns. There is still so much that we don't know. We don't know if you might need 3 flowers to spawn a new flower of a certain color. We don't know how many genes might be involved. We don't know if we get all of the colors in every one of the flowers. There's also 2 additional flower types that are not in the game yet that we do not have access to. But I think so far the folks who have gotten the most fun flowers, the most new colors, the most new patterns, are those who are simply planting a whole bunch of flowers and fertilizing every one of them. Let us know in the comments below if you've gotten new colors or new patterns, especially if you got any of those without using any fertilizer, or if you can remember exactly what you did to get it. I'm working on a few flower diagrams that I'm hoping going to have up for download in the shop soon, and since there is so much more to learn about flowers, I'm sure there will be more guides to come. Although I think a full one on flower breeding is gonna take a really long time with all the different variables, and I can see one more quest in my quest log about flowers that I can't complete yet, so I'm sure we'll have more information once I do. Subscribe for more Hello Kitty Island adventure content and turn on notifications to find out the next time we go live. Hope to see you there.